amazing. So welcome to the live today about quantum leaping your business and your reality. This is a topic that I am super passionate about because hi Martha, nice to see you. I have quantum leaped my reality so many times in my life that my reality has just completely changed. And a quantum leap can describe any time in your life where you experience this massive shift in the way that you're showing up, the way that you're living, the way that you're being, the way that you're doing your reality. So in my case, grew up in a medium-sized town in Kentucky and have lived all over the world, have lived in all of these different places. And I know that a lot of the spiritual women and the creative women in this group are wanting to shift into their next level expansion, their next level reality, the next way that they are embodying, the way that they are doing life. Maybe it's something small, like a smaller shift, or maybe it's like a big, massive shift that you're ready to take. Now, I always get really excited about that because it means a different life. It means an elevated life. It means living a more inspired life. But some of you are already well on your path to living your best and most inspired and most aligned life. I just got off a call with an amazing client, amazing aligned abundance session this morning. She's well on her path, well on her way to leaping into her reality that she's dreaming up, that she's visualizing, and that she's creating. And so in order to make this live on Quantum Leaps really effective, I want to talk about some of the tipping points, and I want to encourage you to do this and take a little assessment in your own life, and you're welcome. If you want to make this really rich and really inspiring for all the active members of the group, you can drop into the chat your quantum shifts, because I think that is like a great learning. Or if you're watching this later over on YouTube, you want to put into the comments how you've quantum shifted or quantum leapt your reality. I think it's like a really, really great learning for the group. So I have a couple of notes here, but I want to just go back to, being a little girl growing up in Kentucky, having all of these big dreams and these big visions, to now having lived in New York, France, and Los Angeles for 20 years, owning a house in LA, right in the heart of the city. How did my life become so different than how it was when it started? It was great when it was started. It was, a really kind of a regular, I don't want to say regular, but I won't say there was anything like extraordinary about my childhood, other than it was pretty magical. The time that I spent in nature in Kentucky, that was pretty magical. But it wasn't like anything extraordinary. My parents had very regular jobs. Then they divorced when I was a little bit older. So there wasn't anything that I would say was like making it extraordinary. But what I want to dial into are these different points in my life where I felt like my life really shifted. So when I made the decision when I was 17 to move to New York, okay, that's a big shift. So like I said, I'm kind of into these bigger quantum leaps, but you're welcome to, if you're satisfied, if you're happy, if you're fulfilled on your path, you may just take these smaller leaps or these smaller shifts, stepping into and embodying. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I don't really feel like I have to take these massive jumps anymore because I'm already well on my way. I'm just stepping into and embodying more and more what it is that I really want to bring in. So that word embody, if any of you were in the group since the beginning of 2023, that was my word of the year. And I've been really living out that word this year. So let's go through my timeline of shifts, and I welcome you to share your own in the comments. So moving to New York, I studied film and set design. And I met a bunch of professional actors, and I worked with professional actors there when I was 17. So that was a big shift for me, going from a girl in a medium-sized town in Kentucky, private high school, all girls, and then going out into the world of acting and directing and set design. That was a huge shift and a huge leap for me into a bigger city and just a different environment, embodying a different embodying an artist a little bit in my life, starting to embody that archetype. The next shift was possibly when I moved to California. And so sometimes when we move, that can create a shift, right? But it's really anytime that we're taking an action that's different than what we've currently been doing. So if you're the kind of person that really clings to your reality, really likes for things to stay the same, just know that if you're ready to leap and move into a different version of yourself, you're going to have to start doing things differently. You cannot continue to do the same thing over and over again, because it really, you just will not have a new reality. You will have the same reality. So another one, when I became a real estate investor in my early 20s, that was wild. People that knew me said, "What on earth are you doing?" All I knew was I was really passionate about interior design. I'd been working with clients on their interiors, and I was really artistic and really creative. And I knew I wanted to have artistic control over the houses that I renovated. So my husband and I, we weren't even married at the time. I talked to him. I did a little bit of convincing, and I said, "Look, I really think this is what my heart is telling me. My gut is telling me, my intuition is telling me, I think we should start investing in houses and fixing them up." And we did that. We went back to my hometown, and we did that in my hometown. It was like a little piece of the journey. But when I decided to become a real estate investor and build this big real estate portfolio, I just had an idea that I wanted to do it. And I started to work toward that idea, toward that dream, and toward that vision. So that was another quantum leap or quantum shift in my life. Other ones that I'm just going to keep kind of going along the way. When my first celebrity client. So as you know, in Los Angeles, I have a private art practice, private creative wellness practice. I taught art for many, many years. One afternoon, actually, after lunch, I picked up my cell phone and I got a voicemail from a celebrity client wanting me to teach art at her home. This was yet another quantum leap. Then I ended up working with a bunch of celebrity clients. Since then, I've worked with like a whole bunch. And it was like the first one, you're like, "Oh, that's new, that's different, that's exciting," right? But then what happens is it starts to become normal. It starts to become something that just naturally flows to you and becomes part of your reality. Now, how did I manifest all of these different things? How did all of these different things? My first e-course sale, that was a 5-figure sale. I sold one of my e-courses. Now, before that, I had created 2 other e-courses, right? And then my e-courses generated over 6 figures. So how did I start to create all of these things, right? It really comes down to the vision of what you want to create in your reality, and having some clarity on that vision, having the ability to tune into your heart, to follow your heart, to tune into your intuition, your inner vision, and then to project that inner vision out into the world. Okay. One last thing that was, I'll share my most recent quantum leap, which was as an international elite retreat host. So I'd hosted workshops in Los Angeles and also New York, Santa Barbara, San Francisco, other cities. I put myself on the map as an artist with these creative, holistic wellness workshops. And I decided I really wanted to host an international elite retreat for other female entrepreneurs. So I was very specific about who it was for, and it would have some creative wellness, but it will also be to help with manifesting and manifesting big dreams. And that was my latest leap, and I stepped into it. So I expand and I accept, I was going to say stepped, and I step into these different leaps. So now for the tactical part. So we've got the intuition, the dreams, and the really going into the heart space. That's something that I work with my clients on, and bringing those dreams and those visions into a reality. And that brings me to having the courage to dial in and take action. Now, whether that means working with a coach one-on-one, being in masterminds, taking e-courses. Before I sold my 6 figures of e-courses, I took e-courses. I learned how to create courses. Before I started working with my one-on-one clients online, I learned how to work with clients online. Before that, I had been taking lots and lots of clients in person. So I had like 17 years of experience working with clients in person, building a private practice. That's why I can help now other coaches and other spiritual entrepreneurs and other creatives who want to host workshops, have one-on-one clients, and manifest their big vision that they want to step into in their business. So that's how I help other people quantum leap. I've basically been doing it for years and years and years and years. So there's 3 things that you need to do. And this is, I have borrowed this from another coach that I really love, and I follow a lot of his teachings and a lot of his videos. He talks about thinking, feeling, and acting. So you start to think about who you want to be. And I love these three actions. Is just like so simple. It's like, think about it, envision it. And actually, if I were to tweak the think, feel, and act, I would almost say, like, for me, it's like the intuition. It's like that feeling part. So feeling your way into who you want to be. So as an artist, as a creative, I have like big imagination. I'm sure a lot of you also have these big, vivid imaginations. And the more you dream, that's why I call this group Spiritual Entrepreneurs Manifesting Your Dreams. The more you actively dream about your new reality, the closer that you're calling it into you, and the closer that it's going to happen for you. And then the third part, which is the act, and that's the embodiment. So how are you acting? Who are you being right now? That is bringing you closer to who you'd like to become. So I haven't looked at the comments in a little while. If you have any questions, let me know how this is going. Amazing. I didn't know you were in Scotland. I had no idea, Martha. So I have some Scottish heritage myself. So I love hearing about everybody's stories, and I love hearing about how you're going back to embody your life as an artist. So we all have these special gifts, these things that we're really meant to do, these people that we're meant to be in life. If you're watching live, let me know you're here. Say hello. This is like a really amazing spiritual and creative community. So gotcha. Okay. So, we're all taking these actions toward quantum shifting and aligning with our next level and our next expansion. And I want you to know that anything that you can dream of and anything that you can imagine, you can absolutely create. That's the creator in me that knows that and believes that we can call things. This is from another coach I worked with, from the spiritual plane down into the physical plane, into the physical form, into our physical reality. And it's really, really fun to do that. So if you want to become, if your intention is to become a top writer, or you want to become the most well-known painter there is in a certain style or in a certain genre, you can absolutely do that. If you want to become the most abundant Reiki master instructor in the world, you can absolutely do that. But you have to start to think, feel, and act your way into these archetypes. Because really what they are, they're archetypes. You're embodying this person that you truly are inside. But what you're doing is you're expressing it to the exterior reality. So you're actually acting, you're doing it in your exterior reality. So for about 8 years there, I became really known in my artistic practice for natural dyes and conscious fashion. I just really, really was inspired by it. And I decided that I wanted to become one of the most well-known natural indigo artists out there. And I did that for 8 years. And to the point that my website would come up #1 in the search for natural indigo artists in United States, the top. So first thing I had to do was I had to realize that I wanted to become the number one most known for that in the world. So you have to have a big vision. So if that's something that you need help with, crafting and really expanding and blowing out this big vision and really believing that you can do it. I think back to when I started investing in real estate back in Kentucky, and I went to visit a woman that watched me. She kept me growing up. So she watched me. She lived across the street. She kept me growing up. She's like known me since I was born, basically. And I told her what I was going to do and how I was going to start buying these houses and fixing them up and develop, real estate portfolio. And she said, Hillary, a lot of people, they might say that they're going to do it, but then they don't actually go and do it. But you actually go and do it. And I hear that conversation now because I thought it was just completely normal to just go and like do all these things. But what she was really dialing into is like, we have this imagination, we have this dream, we have this vision. But the second part that is essential, that's actually extremely, extremely essential, is that we start acting and we start leading ourselves and we start taking ourselves toward these big visions of what we want to be. So if I want to have a spiritual top mastermind for spiritual and creative entrepreneurs to have their own workshops, their own books published, their 6 figures worth of courses, their own private practices thriving, then I have to take action toward that, right? If I want to help people quantum leap their reality, then I need to show up on a live today and help you to quantum leap your reality. So there are other things you can do. You can do meditation. You could take a coaching certification. You could go into hypnosis. All of these things help. They're all like tools and like little assists that like help us bring our new reality more into being, right? All of these tools and these things that we can do. But until we become, and this is like the name of my old masterclass, visible and abundant, until we become the visible embodiment of what we want to create, then sometimes the abundance can't find us and it can't flow to us. So what I want to say here, and I really want to dial it in, is stop hiding your gifts. So I'm coming like a little more direct today. Stop hiding all of the amazing creative visions that are inside of you. Stop holding back from taking action, something that feels good, something that lights you up, something that you know in your heart that you really want to do. I want you to do it. I want you to go for it. I want you to step into it. And, a good example of this is like, if you've taken a lot of my free trainings over the years and you're like, soon I'm going to do it. I'm going to do something. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to do the next thing. It's like, when does the dreaming stop and then the acting start? And I actually like to think that they can overlap, that you can dream and you can act, and you can dream and you can act, or you can align and then you can act. Align, embody, right? So you really start to produce and project that reality externally. So if this is helping you, if this is resonating with you, give me a yes, give me a thumbs up. Let me know what is resonating that I'm saying. Of course, there are very practical tools that you can use, like tools to help you develop your vision, like my journal that I wrote this year, that when I decided to become a published author, you can decide to use these tools that will help you stay on track and will help you get there, will help you align, and then will help you activate and embody who it is that you know that you're really here to be. And I hope that this live training on quantum leaps and quantum leaping your reality has really helped you to see that what's necessary for you to step into that next version of yourself. So I'm here to inspire you to step into more creative abundance in your practice, in your career path, in your business, and then to also ascend and to elevate into that next level. So I have 2 things that are pretty big happening in my world right now. The first one is Ascend, which is a mastermind specifically for spiritual and creative entrepreneurs who are manifesting their dreams. Your dreams can be anything from, stepping into more creative abundance, to filling out your private practice, to selling out your next big workshop or event. So whatever that is for you, this is not a cookie cutter mastermind. This is not where I'm going to give you a one size fits all approach and I'm going to say, okay, it worked for me, it's going to work for you. What I'm really more interested in is guiding you into your authentic expansion. And when you're in that authenticity, that is when you become a huge magnet for your most aligned clients. Your most ideal clients start to step through, and all of the synchronicities and all of the opportunities will start to flow for you because you're aligned in your authenticity. So that's the first thing. It's an 8-week journey. It starts on Tuesday. It's $888 through today for all 8 weeks. There are payment plans available, and you get a one-on-one session with me, which is valued at $333. So it's all included. It's basically the least, one of the least expensive ways to work with me on a continual weekly basis, where you're going to see that momentum really coming through in your business. And the second way is if you're not quite ready for a big embodiment and a big expansion and a big elevation in your business, if you want to see some momentum and you want to dive deeper into your mission, I have an 11-day messenger vortex, which is called The Vortex. And you join me for 11 days and you get into money, mission, and magic. This is all on Messenger, so it's not live. It's not like the group program where you're having weekly lives and live coaching with me every week. But during our 11 days together, you will gain momentum. And momentum is something I'll talk about on my next live training, but that's something that we really need to get into the rhythm of and into the movement when we're manifesting and we're calling in new opportunities. So if you'd like something to kickstart your momentum, it's $88 right now, today only, through today. And then tomorrow it goes up to $111, and then it'll go up to $222, because you do get 11 days of continuous messaging support from me if you're ready to call in your next vision. Now, for the women that are stepping into Ascend, which is starting on Tuesday, that's the big mastermind with other coaches, spiritual entrepreneurs, healers, creatives. That's where we're calling in our next level embodiment. And trust me, I'm doing it too. So it's not like a me and you kind of separate thing. We're actually a community, and we're a mirror to each other's growth and to each other's expansion in a way. So that's the Super Elevated Mastermind, which starts on Tuesday. So if you have any questions about that kind of stuff, feel free to reach out to me in the DMs. I hope that you absolutely loved this live training on quantum leaps. And I can't wait to see you in the next training, where I talk about momentum and the critical way that momentum affects your ability to manifest and call things into your reality and into your business, and how that all works. So thanks so much for joining the live training, and drop your biggest takeaway in the comments, and I'll see you soon.